Welcome to Eradicate Diseases, the educational channel. My name is Todd. In this episode, we're going to discuss the solutions to the many problems that we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, which, by the way, is still going on. There's still thousands that are dying each month, and also billions that have only received one vaccine. That is 5 billion have only received one vaccine, and another 2.4 billion that have not been vaccinated at all. So we're glad to be back to normal for most people around the world, but we still don't know yet what's going to happen with COVID-19. Nevertheless, this is one of the reasons why we've chosen the subject of eradication of diseases, not just of smallpox and polio, polio will soon be eliminated, they're saying, but also COVID-19, influenzas, tuberculosis, and many diarrhea-based diseases. Can they be eradicated? Well, according to what we see in research, papers, clinical studies, and scientific documentation, the answer to that indicates yes. And during these series of videos, we're going to look into this information, and we're going to provide them in each series. So maybe another 20 or 30 series that will discuss this. Nevertheless, we want to ask ourselves, is it possible to eradicate diseases? Well, a good place to go to find out would be what the World Health Organization has to say. So let's listen to what their comments are on this subject as we listen to this clip here. Let's listen.
Would that actually be a game changer in preventing transmission of COVID-19?
Yes, it could. The oral vaccine creates immunity in your gut, and it stops you being infected, and more importantly, stops you passing the infection on to other persons.
About what it will take to get rid of this disease, to eradicate polio once and for all.
Very much like COVID, as long as we have polio transmission anywhere, potentially everywhere is at risk.
If you want to stop polio transmission, you use the oral polio vaccine.
So did you notice, very much like COVID-19, there is a transmission of polio, and it causes anybody to be at risk, everywhere and anywhere. And it's the same thing with COVID-19. As long as it's out there, it can cause people to get sick and die, especially for those who are not vaccinated. However, how is it possible to eradicate a disease? Did you catch how that they said that? In the first part of the clip, they talked about a game changer. And that game changer he referred to was an oral vaccine. Now, oral vaccines, along with intranasal or nasal mucosal vaccines, is what he was referring to. If we go to the link below, we will see that video there, and you can listen to everything that he said about that. The next thing is that he re-emphasized that in the third part of that clip, where he said that the eradication of a disease comes from what? From using oral. So there's a special reason why, and basically they coat the mucosa, or all the inside body parts, specifically the nose down to the lungs and the mouth down to the gut, and thereby doing two things. Did you notice in the first part of that clip? The first thing is that it prevents infection in the first place. It's the first line of defense. And that is a very, very big thing, and something that we just don't want to wash over. Why? Imagine if you didn't get sick with COVID-19. Imagine if you didn't get sick from any infectious disease. Wow, that is a very big thing. So, along with the first line of defense and the prevention of infections, it also does the second thing. It prevents the transmission of the disease to others. And this is very important, as is the case that they spoke about polio. In order to eradicate polio, they need to stop its transmission. So now you might be wondering, well, all we need now is just a better mucosal vaccine. And it's true, we would certainly need something superior, clinically superior to what is out there right now. But is that the only thing we would need? Well, we can see from the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, that there was a lot of problems during this time, not just related to having technology, as much as that is important. mRNA vaccines were a player. However, are there other things that we should have worked on? The portion of this video was to discuss the solutions to the many pitfalls that the World Health Organization and we basically all saw during the pandemic. The World Health Organization, though, recognized these. They published them at their public health conference meetings for the public to attend, and they were, many of them, enumerated. We have added a couple to show that it is possible to eradicate diseases, but definitely there was problems. One of them was just getting vaccines. It took a whole year to get a vaccine. So that was a problem. And in the meantime, hundreds of thousands have died and millions were sickened, if not hundreds of millions sickened. So it's not just having the ideal vaccine that is important. And in episode 3, we're going to get into more about these mucosal vaccines, but suffice to say that they could help. But there's other things that need to be addressed. So let's listen to this presentation of the solutions to the many problems and pitfalls. These are surmountable pitfalls. We can overcome these. So let's have a listen. So, many pitfalls, but many solutions. Realistic solutions that may take some time, but can be done. Now, if you want to listen to these a little bit further, you can just rewind. The purpose of these videos is to help the public to see that there's solutions to eradicating diseases, especially COVID-19. We might be able to address long-term COVID as well, as much proof is being now presented about that. And we're looking at eradicating all kinds of diseases, infectious diseases. There's much research even done on non-infectious diseases, but that's not what we're talking about in this channel. We now are in the 21st century, and we have so many good things going for us that we need to push ahead. And as was explained there in this presentation, there are a number of things that are already happening that can help prevent a pandemic in the future. Nevertheless, we want to take this occasion to remind you that in episode 3, we're going to get into a little bit more on mucosal vaccines because they play a key role. There are numerous brands, there's different amounts, different types, and you might want to know a little bit more about them. So please subscribe, and go to our website at www.eradicatediseases.org. And for sure, if you can, look at the links or the other videos from the WHO in the description below that will help you to get a better idea and help you to raise any questions. And if you have any questions, which we all probably will, please let us know, either at our website or here in the description below. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in episode 3.